Now, indeed, what is worse? Was it that the thing of the Holocaust that happened with the Jews in Germany, particularly worse than what happened in slavery? Well, for content, I would say that they had their own separate atrocities. But when you want to talk about a human atrocity, I would have to say the act of slavery. Why? Because it hasn't ended yet. It hasn't ended yet, and it evolved into several different types of animals, which I will explain in a moment. Uh, YouTube is vast and stuff. You can back up my words with this. Now, the German. Well, let's start with the Jews first, and the Germans. It was not a Nazi idea that the Jew was inferior, and that the solution would have to eventually come down into a brutal method of extermination. Um, I will get a little bit more into that as when I go into the other to the to the other side. But Hitler was the first person, was the only person um, who carried out the methods that um, Francis, Francis Galton, um, Charles Darwin. Keep in mind, we still teach Darwinism in school as if it should have any relevance. But yes, the social Darwinists had a hand in the Jewish extermination that eventually took off inside of World War II at, as well. Well, while they saw no particular value in keeping them around, and the law pretty much mandated for their wholesale um, extermination. Um, there's a loophole like the curse. They would like to. Well, let me refer to the curse of Deuteronomy in the Bible, where the one thing that the Jews had over, I guess, the blacks that were being enslaved and in many ways wiped off the face of the planet. I would cite the Tasmanians. What happened with the British and the Tasmanians, and so many hundreds of thousands of South Africans that was killed off by the Germans before the Nazis came to power. The and pretty much the regular colonization of whites on indigenous, because that's what they would identify the Negroes as before they were um, known as Negroes. They would be known as the indigenous people. And a lot of the British colonists, they would write that extermination um, began there with colonizing, and then they came up with their sciences to say, okay, well, this is natural. This is natural. This is something that would happen by virtue of the white being white in the white race. They should pretty much turn this because well turn the wheel because they did not have the adequate facilities to be civilized. Now, the difference between the blacks and the Jews is that um, the logic with the social Darwinists, and the logic with the people who believed in Robert Stoddard and what's his name, Charles Darwin's cousin. I would think of his name here in a minute. Is that the Aboriginals and the blacks or the Negroes who are inferior to the whites had to be enslaved. Now, it was eventually thought of seen by virtue that the Jews could escape. Well, the Europe, not the hereditary Jews, but the European Jews that were said to by the Germans to be a hybrid between the whites and the blacks mixing together, um, had refuge in every other countries, and therefore self willingly scattered through all the European countries until in World War II the United States government got involved and decided to be an ally for the Jews, which became a good thing for them. This is not a bad thing to be complained about. I'm really glad that happened. Uh, Now the thing with the Aboriginals, or you would say, or the blacks, with the Aboriginals, the blacks, and the Negroes, is that they had no shelter. They had no refuge. The general consensus among the white nations, among America, and among the white colonizers is that they have to be Christianized. They have to be Christianized, and then being indoctrinated with Christianity, they had to be what do you call it? Socialized. They had to be made civilized because any living being on the planet that cannot comprehend or view Christianity could not be civilized. Which they really even to this day, you hear them coming around with the same social Darwinist arguments, and with the same short-sighted logic that they had in the past, saying, okay, well, these niggas would never be part of the society, But I mean, but there was code words. There was, I mean, it's like being gay today. Like you gotta say you're gay, and it's some sort of badge of honor as a gay person say that they were gay. But I mean, blacks have discrimination anyway. As you said, blacks couldn't hide. It's right. We can't hide even today. If they don't believe that, they still use the same code words. Like imbeciles will not be able to be fit into society. Welfare cases. They use the same code words to portray over to other whites or other Europeans that black people are a burden. So, but I mean, slavery was a catalyst, but the Africans had a better word for it. It was called the Ma'afa. The Ma'afa still exists, and people are still persecuted. People are still in prison. People are still killed. All this other stuff that the Ma'afa has gone through probably almost 500 years now still exists by virtue of that. I I have got to say that slavery was the worst thing that ever happened. Was the worst thing that ever happened. Like I said, you could um, you can go ahead and see if I'm lying. Try to back my word. Try to make me eat my words. But when you want to say, it makes me sick to my stomach. It makes me cringe every time I hear like the Houthis in the Middle East say that the reason why we can commit apartheid on another people is because of the Holocaust. It makes no sense in two areas that why kill people just for your own security. That sounds like it, it sounds like more of a imperialist argument to me. And the other thing is, yeah, um, the Holocaust was not the bad thing. It was the worst thing that ever happened. It was a dastardly thing. It was, but you want to compare apples and oranges. You want to compare that. Okay, well, Jews have a chance or have a better chance of becoming something because of all the, well, of course they have the stereotypes. They have some of the stereotypes, but it's far worse to be black than Jew.